Hello my fellow gnomes and welcome back to another video. Today we're revisiting my data saving system. This is a video I made over 2 years ago now, but a lot of people asked how can they save objects to the game. So previously we wrote this script, we have a player added system, we have some default data, and then we save it using the data store service. But we'll notice we can only save very basic information. So we've got dollars, the default amount is 50, and some cars we can save as well, but only string values. And many people want to know, well, how can they save, for instance, an actual car in their game? Or maybe you have a building game and people can make objects, and then you want to be able to save those next time they revisit. And if we play, we can see, yeah, we've got our $1 million, but we haven't got any of those objects that we might want to save. Now, the answer to this is pretty simple, and it comes down to an object, or a concept rather, known as serialization. And this is all about just slimming down the information into the smallest amount of data that you can then use to more easily store in our data store. So for instance, let's say we wanted to save, we had a car driving game like we do here, and we wanted to save various types of cars for the different players. Now we're only going to have so many cars in the game, right? So this one is just called car, and it's got a whole host of parts. Look at all these parts, and it's got a script as well. We don't need to save every single one of these objects for every single player. That doesn't really make any sense. Instead, we can just keep a reference to it. So for example, in our data script, we had Ferrari, Mazda, and Audi. Well, let's say we have those three cars. So we're going to drag this one in, and here we go. We now have an Audi, a Mazda, and a Ferrari here. And they've got special names, but let's rename them all to be nice and simplistic. We just grab these from the toolbox. So this one we name Audi, this one we'll name Ferrari, and this one Mazda. We'll just get rid of the model name, so it's just the make. Now, we don't need to store the entirety of this car. All we need is the name. So what we can do is we can say, if the value equals Ferrari, then I want you to copy that matching car from the server storage. Let me show you a quick example. So I'm going to just change the default data here. I'm going to set this to Audi. I'll delete these other two for now. If you haven't seen the original data store video, then I recommend doing so. And then once we have the data and we assign it to session data, what we could do is we could just loop through each of the cars. So for car name in player data.cars, of course, that's a table, and we could create a new car. So local new car would equal game.server.storage.cars, and then we just get the name of the car. So car name in square brackets, and then clone it. And we move the new car into the workspace. So at the moment, there's no cars here, but if I go and I click play, what I should see is suddenly all of the cars spawn in. That's because I already have a save file here. So if I hit stop and I say edit some of my data, pop in my user ID, and I just delete the default data. So I'm not going to have any. And now I should just have the Audi, which is the default. So if I play in, there we go. We have got an Audi that we can play with. And all we're doing is we're storing a single string. Now, obviously, this setup isn't really going to work for multiple players. You don't want them all spawning in the same spot. You'd have to work the mechanics of that out for your own game. But we are storing an object there. Now, the second kind of instance that you want to save objects is, like I said earlier, if you had a building. So how about we create a new folder called custom builds, and let's move around some parts. Okay, let's not use cylinders. We could use some cylinders. I suppose it doesn't really matter, but we'll have a couple of cylinders, and then we'll have a block as well that maybe runs over the top of them, and we can give this a groovy color if we want. Something like that, that'll be fine. And then we will make sure to go ahead and anchor all of these, paste them in that custom builds folder. Now, in a game, I'm assuming that you have some sort of build system already set up. So let's imagine that the player has actually placed down these blocks themselves. Now, if we look at each of these parts, there's all this data associated with them, right? All this, like their velocity, how they affected by collisions and all of this data. And we probably don't need this depending on what type of game we have. We might only need to save certain elements of the data, such as, say, the size of the object, the position of the object, and we've got cylinders, so we want to share the shape type, and then also the color, right? So these are gray, this one is red. So let's go and we're just going to create a new little function for ourselves. Local function save part. And we're going to take that part, which is going to be an instance object, like one of these, and we're going to return back a table containing very simplistic data. Now, remember, we can't set, say, the part.position or C-frame because that's a vector 3 value. We can't actually save that within our data store. We've got to be more simplistic than that. So we need to get the .x value and the y and z value. So each of these are just a single number on their own. So we'll save x, y, and z, and then we're going to want to do the same for the size. And then we're going to want to get this a part color. And again, that's a color 3 value, so we can't set that, but we need to get the RGB value. So it's red, green, and blue values. Each of those is just a single number. And you could set more properties, say whether it's anchored or not, whether it's collidable, but we're just going to go with these 6. And then what we need to do is inside of here, ideally you'd probably structure this differently, but just for the sake of this video, let's loop through our custom builds folder. Let's imagine this just exists on the client. So for I part in workspace.custom builds get children do, and we can say create a table at the top, local my parts. That's going to start off as blank, and then we're going to insert into the my parts table, and we're going to create our new save part, or let's change this to serialize part, because that's essentially what we're doing. We're taking the instance, which contains loads of information, and just getting a couple of values instead. So we'll serialize that part. And then once we have my parts, well, we can just add this on to their session data, essentially. So we can say session data, player.userid, and then create a new building equals my parts. And then that will get added to the stored data. So now if I play the game and I leave the game, so hit stop. Now let's look at the data that is stored for us using data store editor. And if we load in that, we can see now there is a new value in our data store called building. We open that up, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's an array containing arrays. And inside each of these, if we open that up, we can see we've got these different values. So that's its position, XYZ, its size, XYZ, and the RGB color of each of them. Now we could have set this up as a dictionary, but we've just set this up as an array to make this simple. And now we've got this saved, we'll actually just go ahead and delete all the contents of custom builds, right? Because we've already saved the information. And now let's create a new function called Serialize part. Have we spelled that right? I think so. And that's going to take some data and then create a part instance. So it's doing exactly the opposite of this function. So local part would equal a new instance of a part. Now, there might be some properties which we're happy to set by default, such as, let's just say we want to anchor all of them. That's fine, doesn't really matter. And then we need to set its size. So part.size is going to equal, we can now create a vector3 instance using the data. So we're going to do that for size and position. I'll just do the position first. If we had a dictionary created here, we could refer to its name, but because we just got a very basic array, we know that the X value for the position is the first element of the array. So we say data 1, and then the Y is at data 2, the second element of the array, and then we get the third one for the Z. And then for our size, it is 4, 5, and 6. Getting my numbers wrong. And then the color, part.color, and we create a color3 value from RGB, or color.new rather. And now we've got 7, 8, and 9 that we can put in. 7, 8, and 9. Now I'm just remembering we did have some cylinders there, and we haven't actually saved the shape type. We forgot to do that. So all of these are going to be parts, square, rectangular parts. I guess that's fine. And then we'll just add in a part parent to be workspace.custom builds. So that's going to create that part instance. Now we just need to actually call this when we load in the player. So we're already looping through all of their cars. Now we're just going to create another similar loop for I part in player data dot, is it building or buildings plural? What did we call it? Building. Okay, so go to building, do, and we can simply deserialize. Oh, and this is a local function. So let's just move this, that, and move it above this because it's local. There we go. And then we can call deserialize part, passing in that part info that we've already saved. So now if I hit play, even though I haven't got anything here in the workspace, when I play, we should hopefully see our objects have materialized. Now we might notice that a few things are off here. First of all, the orientation is wrong because we didn't save an orientation value, and cylinders have a slightly different orientation. And we've also got studs on everything. Now, when we create a part by default inside Studio, it tends to be smooth, but the ones added by scripts have studs, so that would be a default thing that we'd want to change. So how about, let's copy this, stop the game, and we'll just make a few more little tweaks. So we'll paste that back in, like so. And let's say we wanted to rotate these round. Okay, so they're rotated now. And if we, for good measure, we wanted to set them back to being cylinders. There we go. We've set them all up as cylinders. So let's go into our script, make sure we actually save that data. So part.shape. And because we want to handle rotation, we need orientation as well. So that will need to be X, Y, and Z. We will set the orientation like so. X, Y, and Z. So this, we've got 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 7 to 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 for the shape. So then in our deserialize, we can set part.orientation equals another vector3.new. Copy those values. This is 10, 11, and 12. And finally, part.shape equals enum.partType dot, and we use square brackets, and we'll say data 13. And then as well, we want to set all of the surfaces to smooth. So part.surface, top surface equals, and repeat that for each of the surfaces. So that's a bunch of default values we created. And I almost got caught out there. Rather than setting part.shape, make sure we set the name of that actually, because shape is an enum value. So we're going to set the name. So we've got our model, we adjusted it. Let's just play the game. That should all be fine. Oh, we've got an error here, down here, because we didn't create a default value. So initially, we want to say the building is equal to a blank table. So play, then hit stop. That will save it to our character. We can delete those parts again. Check the data store. We should now see 13 objects being stored for each, and we've got cylinder being kept stored in there. That's great. So now when I rejoin with play, I should hopefully see, there we go, a complete duplicate of the object we had before. So we hit stop and it's not there. When it loads in, there we go. But whenever I hit play, then that model is going to get loaded back in for us. So we successfully serialized and deserialized that data. And I have my car to drive in as well. Where's the driving seat? There it is. So hopefully that's helped you guys in storing objects in your game. If you have any more questions, let me know down in the comments. If you found this helpful, leave a like, and why not subscribe for more videos like this. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye!